Welcome everybody. This is especially an exciting NEPA Tech in my opinion. It's a NEPA Tech first. We've never done a community project, even though a lot of us have been talking about it for over 2 years at this point. Well, we have this opportunity now. Thank you to Jason Washo and Amy Washo. The Boys and Girls Club of Northeast PA needs a new website, and I will simply let Jason tell you more about it because he's the man.
I'm the man. Oh, then my presentation just turned off. So, hi everybody. I know a lot of you, and I don't know a lot of you. So I'm Jason Washo. I am born and raised in Scranton here. My company in this floor, Show Technology Solutions, for software development, software maintenance, software retail, pretty much software, whatever. I knew as soon as we start, people would start walking in. Yo, what's up, man? How's it going? Long time no see.
I'm Bailey. Hi.
We're just getting started. So I'm Jason Washo. Nice to see you again. Nice to meet you. So we're Show Technology Solutions. Avish over here works with me. Do some work with John. We do a lot of community work as well. So my wife Amy and I are involved with the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast PA. Amy's on the board. I do the like the technology stuff for them, like PC support, and now their website. And you know, we've been involved with this group here, NEPA Tech, for quite some time now. And like John said, we've been talking about just doing a project and, you know, not just being friends, but kind of like working together. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to do it. So like I said, you know, we started with tech meetups. It just became a whole bunch of people who didn't know each other. Now we're a whole bunch of friends, which is kind of cool. We started this group really with a bunch of programmers. It started as a NEPA JS group where we just sat here and talked about JavaScript all night, which was, I think we actually lost a couple people just because they don't want to talk about JavaScript. So it eventually evolved into, you know, thanks to John, a tech group of just really a lot of various skill sets, which is kind of cool. I would like to go around the room just to let everybody introduce themselves so we could get to know each other. You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'm Ian. I just kind of moved here last year, and I'm just getting into web development. I did my first dev project for a website for my dad, and right now I'm working in Node.js just for fun, making a bot and a chatting service.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So,
Wait, in Slack?
No, Discord.
Okay.
So kind of like the Slack.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm Bailey. I work at a local marketing agency and kind of wear many hats. I dabbled in full stack web, some native iOS stuff, kind of all over the place. It's my first time here.
What's going on? I'm John. I'm Quincy. I'm the same thing, many hats. I do full stack web design, front end. I've done most of the freelance work with solar companies, claim adjusters. I use mostly JavaScript. I met John at the tech meetup.
That was the last one, right?
Yep, the one in Honesdale. It was a good one.
Hi, Jeff. I can't really hear that well, that's why I'm sitting up front. I'm a Dunmore native, and I'm currently unemployed for about a month now. So I've been getting very much into web design. I've been into Photoshop and illustrations for about 3 years now. But I'm finding that I really like CSS, and the CSS is harder.
Hello everyone, my name is Avish, and as you said, I work with Jason. I'm a software engineer, and we do everything with software.
Hi, my name is Joe. I'm probably the one that's completely different here. I'm actually a counselor by trade, but also a teacher, teach higher education. My relationship with technology is really from the social science perspective, and kind of the relationship that we have with it. So kind of the user experience, I guess you might say, in terms of our relationship with it, and how we kind of our mental health as well as just development. So, a little different than everybody else.
My name is Chef Gowie. I'm currently a full stack web applications developer for a large company. I've got a very large background in IT, so I've also been systems administrator, network administrator, pretty much the whole gamut for about as long as I've been about as tall as that table. So, been around the block a good long time.
I'm Amy Washo. I'm kind of different from all of you as well, not having much of a tech background besides what I do to help Jason out with show technology. I am an accounting faculty member at Marywood University.
I'm Brent Pennington. I'm half the IT department at the diocese. So a lot of hardware support, user support, dabble in some web design development on the side too. So a little bit of everything.
I'm Mandy Pennington. I'm the Director of Internet Marketing at NetDriven, so I'm right over across the hall. I'm not a programmer or developer, but my area of expertise is search engine optimization and social media management.
I'm Chris Rogers. I'm a freelance social media coordinator and freelance writer. Also not much of a programmer, but I love the people, so I'm here.
We got some newcomers.
Yes. I'm Jeremy Brown. I'm a graphic designer, animator, and a recent technology teacher at Lackawanna College. I'll probably show everyone a little bit later, but I do these animations called walls.dog, where it's just like a pixel art dog in different situations. Thank you.
Sounds good.
I'm Vanna Zona. I'm the senior graphic designer at NetDriven. I work at creating the website layouts for all of our automotive companies.
I'm Nick Rosati. I'm a mechanical engineer at my day job at Production Systems Automation. We do a lot of defense R&D projects, and I'm working on building a distillery and a platform for trading and investing in whiskey.
Which is super cool stuff. Super cool stuff.
It's fun.
So from tech meetup to friends, and what Chris said, it really rings true. Like, this is really a good group of people here, and I really feel like we could take the relationship to the next level and try to do something together here. So as I mentioned before, we evolved from programmers to various skill sets. We have social science here, we have educators, we have social media, we have artists now. So like it's really growing to be a pretty cool group here. So we're looking to work together here for the common good. We have a local organization that does some pretty amazing things for the kids in this area, which is why again Amy and I are so close to it, just because it's something that's it's a big problem, and I really don't think a lot of us really understand the impact that this organization has to the area, and it's a nationwide company or organization as well. So what it has for the country. So I mean, I'm stealing John's word here of crowdsourcing. So what we're trying to do here is let's get a bunch of people together and try to do something pretty cool. So as I mentioned, the Boys and Girls Club, nonprofit organization, local chapters over on Ash Street. It's a safe place for kids to go after school in summertime for activities and food. A lot of these kids that go there really have nobody to go home to sometimes, which is very, very sad. But they also, the organization just does a great job with these kids. You walk in there at 3 o'clock and there's hundreds of kids running around having fun with each other. Just it's a great thing. So the company or the organization survives mostly on donations and grants. So if you did any fundraising before in your life, you would understand that that's pretty much impossible to live off of. It's a very challenging place to be in when you rely on donations and you have all these kids to support. So I like to think that, you know, what Amy and I do for the organization, what all the other board members and people who help out that organization, just try to help it as much as we can to you know, keep it going in one area that at least I feel like I could participate with is the tech side of it. So like I said, I do all the PC support for them. I do the Microsoft Office licensing. I recently helped them navigate their emails from one server to another. So there's a lot of technical things that they need, but one thing that we did recognize was that they need a website upgrade. So their current state of their website, to make changes basically requires you to be an HTML programmer. So you can imagine that they're going in, right-clicking on the HTML file, opening it up in Notepad, seeing all the HTML that's there, and then making changes. So if you're a programmer, you love that stuff. If you're not, it's Greek. So they need help in updating their current website. So what Avish and I recently did was we moved their website from one server to another. We're hosting it now. We're making the changes for them whenever they need it. But it's at the point where, it's 2019, right? We could build websites where the marketing person or whoever it is could just go into it, add a post, make the updates themselves. So why don't we at least try to get them to that point? The current website is not device responsive, so I challenge you to open up bgcnepa.org on your phone and navigate through it. You have to do a lot of zooming in onto certain areas to get to where you want to get to. As we all know that's again, 2019. I'm sure we could make that a little bit better. Most of the forms on there are PDFs, so if you want to fill out a donation form or something like that, you have to download it, print it, fill it out, drop it off, mail it to them, whatever. You're creating paperwork mess for them, so we could create forms online for that. Living in what's called mobile getting. Mandy, I'm sure that's one of your favorite words, right? So, I mean, the main driver for this site is not only to attract members to go there, but it's also to attract donations to come into the site to help the organization out. And one way to do that is search engine optimization, right? We want to be able to drive people to this site to drive revenue for the company. My company is currently in possession of their DNS and all the code, which means that we could do whatever we want. Now, what I mean whatever we want, we still need to get their approval on everything that we put together here, but there's nothing holding us back from doing anything, which is a really cool position to be in. Typically, when you're dealing with websites, you have somebody else who has a DNS, you need to ask them to make changes, but we have full control over that, which is, again, a really good position to be in. So I'm going to give a quick website demo of what it currently looks like. So as you can see, even on a big screen, there's a lot of white space. It has a pretty cool left-hand side when you scroll down, the little icons change over, which I kind of like a lot. But there's an area for about our club, which this was working, but of course it's not going to work while.
I guess we need a
Put that
website
put that on
upgrade.
pause. There you go. I'm launching up my Wi-Fi hotspot really quick here.
We couldn't reach the Wi-Fi from your office.
I'm on it, but it's weak.
Oh,
because
goodness.
You're on the 5G version, not the regular version.
Oh, this is why he works. All right, there we go. So it has an about our club with a mission statement and just some little text here to talk about the value, who we are. You see, my wife is here, the board of directors, what we do. So here's all the things that the club does for the kids, such as homework assistance, computer education, arts and crafts, field trips, you name it. The programs, so they have almost like a bit of a curriculum that the kids go through. But again, you can see the white space, you can see the small text. There's a calendar, so right now there's a golf tournament coming up, which right now it's just a little text here, but it would be cool to, I know I got the flyer in the mail yesterday, a beautiful flyer that describes what's going on with the golf club golf tournament, so it would be nice to have something like that in there. An ability for someone to go in, donate, and it takes you to the PayPal page that they have. That's gonna take forever to load. So you just go in there and type in the amount of money that you want to donate, and so on and so forth. So and another news feed, but again, we have to go into here and make HTML changes and things like that, which isn't the ideal state to be. So the ask. So as I put in here, to redo this website is a lot of work for one person. but it's a small amount for a lot of people put together. So we're looking to really kind of kill two birds with one stone here. One, give a good organization a nice looking website, but two, experiment with this NEPA tech and trying to bring people together and let's work on something common, let's share some ideas, let's do some cool things, and let's draw some attention to get more people to join this group and participate. And I think, you know, like I mentioned earlier in this presentation, we have a lot of folks here who kind of span across all the things that we need to put something like this together. So, Mr. Cartoon Artist over there, we could use some design skills for PDFs and PNGs and layouts and ideas around that. Some technical writing, because I'm sure we're going to need to put together some text to say, hey, here's what needs to be done for this part of the page. Actual programming, so I'm thinking we would do something like this in WordPress, or something that allows the club to be able to go in and make little changes. A blog and newsfeed setup, so again, this way we don't have to go into HTML to add a link to a golf tournament. We can just say, hey, post it to the page. Maybe some search engine optimization, you know, that type of stuff. I don't know anything about. Testing, we want to make sure that this thing works. Photography/video. So I think we see here that there's nice pictures and everything. I think there's the let's see, the who we are. We got the staff, and there's like corporate headshots and things like that if they eventually load. So there's the team of wonderful people that run this organization. So I think some cooler photographs that expands the width of the page and things like that would be nice for this. Advertising. So perhaps once we're done, you know, this could create a really cool news story with the Scranton Times. We could get something out that says, hey, the NEPA Tech organization put this together. Boys and Girls Club's happy, everybody here is happy. It's just a really good story for a newspaper that tends to cover a lot of bad stories. Any other ideas? So, I mean, we're a whole bunch of programmers. We're a bunch of nerds here as well that would like to try some new and experimental things. So, I think it's just a really good chance for us to try to experiment with some things to see if it works. And then the last thing is just like, you know, Show Technology would provide the project management, provide the hosting of the site and all that stuff. So there's a place for it to lie. So I mean, those are the types of things that we're looking to recruit with this. So that's really what I'm asking all of you tonight to see if you want to donate some time. So you know, the vision for the website is, Mandy, I'm stealing another one of your things, to know the persona. So Amy brought up this point before of we want to try to steer the vision of this website to also attack like the members, not attack members, but focus on that audience, but also focus on the donation audience and focus on some other audiences that might be out there, and try to steer the site to attract them, because a donator might not care about some of the activities that are going on, but they want to care about how the Boys and Girls Club impacted the area within the last 2 years or something like that, so maybe some stats. Getting across the message of the club. So, I mean, I think the website does a pretty good job at it now, but I don't think it really says the true value that they're bringing the area here. That the true value that you see once you walk in there and you see what's really happening there is different than what's being shown on the site now. So, trying to bring the artistic and the creativity into this website to try to get that across to the people is really kind of what we're looking to do there. And then more to follow. I mean, this is a work in progress. There's a lot of conversations that I'm going to have, that Amy and I are going to have with Tricia, the club director, to say, hey, is there other things that you want to make sure that this site accomplishes? But again, we're a bunch of creative people here, so I'm sure we could figure something out. So, you know, the benefits of being on something like this is, you know, the one reason why I'm on is I want to feel good. I want to feel good about doing something here. I want to say that, you know, we brought together a group of people, we did this project, everybody had fun doing it, organization got something good, everybody feels good. You know, there's an advertising piece for this, so I already got the permission from the club to say, hey, we're going to put a page on the site that says, here are the people who made all this happen. And, you know, if you're looking for a resume experience, that you're just starting to be a website builder, it's a good thing to put on your resume and things like that. So, you know, it shows good teamwork. You're able to participate in the big project. It shows, you know, hey, I put together this part of the site. So, so there's, and I'm sure there's even more benefits I didn't think of, but I'm just trying to get some in front of you now, just to try it out. So, so I just want to just try to make this a discussion and see what people think. That's really all I had. So, thank you. Yeah, thank you, John.
Thank you, Jason.
We're
And
tired.
thank you.
We just got back from the meeting that we.
Oh, yeah.
This is my second presentation today after a 4.5-hour one, so I'm drinking my coffee and trying to stay awake. So.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Amy, and thank you, the rest of the board members of the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Pennsylvania. I feel that this is an excellent opportunity to give back to the community. It's a nonprofit organization, and it'll make us feel good. So ideally, with a project like this, we don't want to overburden anybody. The true vision, not the true vision, but the idea behind it is that anybody who participates doesn't have to do any more than 1 to 2 hours a week as needed for just a few months. And I'm going to be passing around this little form. It says, do you want to help? Yes, no, or maybe. If you say no, we understand. Your time is valuable, but we're just happy that you're here. And totally up to you guys. So, but I'm excited for this. A NEPA Tech First group project.
And I'll be honest with you, I never did a WordPress website with many people working on it at one time. So I don't know. It might be a cluster to be completely honest with you. But you never know. I mean, I think it's still worth the time.
It's manageable.
Is it?
Yeah, we just redid ours, and we had the team of about a dozen people, all with fingers
Really?
in it. You know, various permission levels, but now that we've got it launched, we've left it that way, so there's about a dozen different department members spread throughout the organization who can all access updated work.
And you did it in WordPress as
Yep.
well? Okay, awesome.
I don't know if you're on WordPress. I mean, where I'm at, we basically used Aurelia as our framework, which provides a lot of out-of-the-box components. And then we've got Material Design, which provides UI controls. And basically, you've got everything you need right there to build all the logic out of the box without having to worry about a lot of hokey plugins that may or may not be maintained by other vendors.
Yeah, that's the thing that scares me about WordPress. And I say the same thing to my clients is, you know, these plugins exist out there, and I'm sure they work and everything, but who's writing them?
Well, it's not just that. There's also been horror stories of the not too distant past where vendors aren't necessarily keeping their plugins up to date. You also have dependency issues and all sorts of other things across the board. Whereas if you go with a common framework, such as Aurelia, that's just the glue in essence, and it doesn't really get in the way. And then on top of that, you can design your own components from other sources, such as Material Design is one of the things that we're working on right now. But
Okay.
there's other things out there. We built tons of components from scratch. It's not terribly difficult
Okay.
to do.
Yeah, can you explain that a little bit more for the
Can we
folks
bring up
around
the
here?
website? Sorry. So we have something to look at when
Oh, yeah.
we're talking about it. Thank you.
So I guess I want to go into a little bit more detail about that for the people who.
Well, at the basic level, you're looking at different form input and also display components such as date pickers, date time pickers, validating that the user's putting in input that's of the proper format, as well as both in terms of length as well as matching particular patterns for emails. Is it all numeric for phone numbers, or are they trying to do something they shouldn't? Those are things that there are ready-made components that already
that something you could write up like a recommendation on? Like, it sounds like there's a lot of information to sort of parse out there.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely gonna be a level of architecture to go down.
I don't know if that, I don't know if that
use-
belongs in like general discussion, but that sounds very, like, that's very valuable information for sure.
I will say,
And the ultimate goal would definitely be to use it. Go ahead.
I know WordPress is definitely one of the most friendly things to try and teach and explain. And it sounds like this framework might be a little more complicated, so there might be something.
Well, yes.
We want a
yes and
system
no.
where anybody can update it.
Yeah.
And WordPress, I think, is a great way to go.
I know a lot of
And-
other people really like Squarespace as well, which is somewhat comparable.
I'm a big
anybody
fan.
on the WordPress train, you should check out Webflow, it's called.
I heard of that, that's new.
It's a new thing. Everybody over the West is doing it. I just started using it last year at my agency. It's literally solves all of the problems of WordPress. It was made by a lot of ex-WordPress engineers, no plugins, no third-party crap. Access to a lot of great CSS libraries like Flexbox, Grid, visual manipulation of that. So everybody just check out Webflow and
The one thing with this, with what I mentioned is, from a programming perspective, it's complicated to stand up, because it does require programmers to, it's whatever you want it to be. It's not restricted by any bounds, it's only in the limits of the programmers. So they can cater a custom application specifically tailored to both the content creators and whoever else is involved, and then targets the UI facet to the intended audience. It's
What's
not,
the background programming language for that?
it's whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
We use TypeScript, which is basically a more, well, for the web browser portion of things, we use TypeScript that converts into JavaScript.
Sure.
On your typical end user browser, it's just
Transportation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's type safe JavaScript in essence. So you're not gonna accidentally do some of the errors that you run into where JavaScript is very easy to hurt yourself. TypeScript helps you see a lot of problems before they hit.
TypeScript, that would require some specialty programming skill set. I mean, I've used TypeScript before,
Yeah.
but the goal is to be able to make this website without having to type too much HTML, JavaScript, CSS.
If I may suggest, I don't know that this technical discourse is playing to the strengths of everybody in the room.
Yeah.
So, that's something I think definitely there should be a pros and cons sheet on, and you guys
Yeah.
can fight that out together. But I think we've got some viable options. You have some very sort of like low-level, interesting solutions. I think should definitely be written up. I'm really interested in Webflow versus WordPress, but again, that's a discussion that's over the heads of, including myself, most of the people in here.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to figure out is, you explained a little bit the mission to the Boys and Girls Club. I'm trying to figure out when people are like, why do you want people to visit the website? And when you do get them to visit the website, what are the calls to action that you want them to act upon?
Right. And I think the two that I mentioned are more for either people who want to participate in the Boys and Girls Club as far as being a member of it. So I want to sign up my kid to go here. Or
Sure.
I want to sign up.
So you direct parents to this website, in other words?
Parents, I believe is one persona or one audience, right, Amy? That should be there, and I think donators are probably the second main one.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion? It sounds like to help everyone in the room, it might be really helpful to come up with a creative brief questionnaire that we can give to the Boys and Girls Club.
That's a good idea.
To have them tell us kind of what they want, so that way it's easier for us to be able to say, okay, this is the stuff that they're really focused on.
Yes.
How can we align our skill set to deliver?
I can give an even easier way. What I advise, what I've always advised, when somebody wants to set up a website and they're really not sure what direction they want to head, get a bunch of 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and a pencil and just sketch the thing, storyboard it.
And that's the designer piece that I think I'm kind of looking for here is the, who wants to help create those storyboards.
Yeah, because then you can look at it and see, does this mesh with our intention?
Yeah, for sure. We get like a bunch of alternatives, and we can kind of like A/B test them, have people's eyes go. And is this following a critical path? Is this getting the person where we want them to go, as pain-free, as frictionless as possible? So yeah, that's a very good suggestion. Thank you.
Criticize the designs on paper before you spend any.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very cost-effective. It's prototyping. Yeah. Thank you.
But Mandy, I think what you're saying, questionnaire is probably the first thing, right? then I think
I
the story.
think we need a lot
effective.
more information about
Mhm.
what their goals and objectives are before we can make any kind of technical recommendation.
Yeah.
There's one danger of that. The problem with saying to someone, what do you want, is they may not necessarily know the full scope of what's available.
And then it's our job to ask follow-up questions and take those wibbly wobbly thoughts and turn them into clear
Well,
goals.
that's not even that. It's like when I was in the Army. The catchphrase was, a recruiter will never lie to you. So what do you want to know? Cricket, cricket. You have no idea what
But
that
we gotta start somewhere though.
I mean, but here's the deal. I mean,
Yeah.
this is an informational website, everyone. Like, it's not like this is a crazy project.
Right.
So I mean,
we're not saying like a corporate infrastructure
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
So I mean, the one thing that we have to start from is
Yeah.
a existing website. So I
Yeah.
mean, even if we just took,
all there.
let's copy and paste this information. Let's get it into something and just start there, and then maybe even take steps after that. So I mean, it's not rocket science, I guess is really what I'm trying to say.
Computer science.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I like that.
I'm curious on the. I don't know much about this. Do you get a lot of, let's say, I don't know, like unsolicited donations or something? I'm thinking in terms of in the direction of SEO, where is there a way?
Is there analytics on the site?
Good
Can
question.
you open up the source code?
Yeah, like are people visit? Yeah, that's the way to place to look. But are you like getting a lot of visitors who aren't
No.
directed to there?
Yeah, this CSS page I see.
Yeah.
And if not, do you want them to? Do you want people to find it in a Google
Yeah,
search?
it doesn't look like it.
I can tell you from personal experience with web optimization, the biggest optimizer that people often ignore, and it's just stupid, simple common sense, is validate your HTML against the doc type that it's targeted for. And you can just run it through validator.w3.org and find out what's wrong with the page. If it's not following the doc type, Google has a tendency to hurt it and makes it harder for crawlers to figure out what's going on.
We got a
Just simple.
hit counter, right? Is that a hit counter?
That is a hit counter.
Yeah.
Oh, we need some skeletons with hard hats
Yeah.
and.
Shawn Michaels.
I haven't seen one since GeoCities.
Yeah, I was just gonna say GeoCities, yeah. Or
It's
Angel
actually-
Fire, right?
It's quite an impressive hit number too.
This
No, I
is
mean,
this is
there's
something.
traffic going on.
This is something, and I'm going into like an unethical place with this immediately. So don't fully listen. But like a counter, like X number of people donated today, right? And like you could like artificially boost it. Don't do that. That's unethical.
Yeah.
But you could say like, oh, X number of people donated today, and that's like a prompt for other people to donate, for
You could
example.
always do, so so you're speaking to like this idea of social proof to encourage greater donations.
Yes, thank
So
you.
You could probably, without inflating numbers, you can use other metrics, either in terms of like your reach from your audiences across your social channels, or you can look at dollars raised, or projects funded, or kids
Oh, that's
served.
perfect. That's
Like,
perfect.
there's so many different numbers that you could probably play with to tell the same kind of story.
Yeah, like our success stories or something. Yeah,
Right.
that's perfect.
This is exactly what I think we're looking for, and this is exactly what I think the public's looking for, is here are the list of cool things that these geeks here will have fun with, but here's also valuable information that you can put on this site that help drive traffic. So like, this is exactly what we were
We
hoping
need
to
to
get.
give stories of what was done in the past, with the money they were given, and what's being done right
Yeah,
now.
like yeah, like the stories, the photos, the smiling kids. That's exactly right.
Show
Yeah.
that there is an impact for donating funds.
This is why I think it's a not just a program or project, because you asked me to do that, I can't. No, I could write a story, but it's not going to sound good, and it's not probably going to get people to donate. But I'm sure a bunch of you here have not just the technical writing skills, but also like the ghost writing skills, if you will, or the content driving skills to do something like that.
Does the website have a blog? And if so, when was the last time it was updated?
I don't know if you could call it a blog. They have this latest news section. That
2016.
That's effectively a blog.
2016.
Any social media at all?
Not much.
Okay.
I'm doing some scope creep now, but just
Yeah.
curious.
Well, I mean, is it really though? I mean,
We have probably a bunch of people here who want to help. Scope creep is okay.
Yeah.
I also think there's an administrative component for the staff of the Boys and Girls Club, so to be able to not only accept donations, but take registrations for different events. So they have this golf tournament coming up at Glenmara. So the type of person that participates in a golf tournament at Glenmara is very much different from another demographic that may be visiting the website. So can people actually register? Can corporations get their sponsorships and do it directly through this to save the administrative burden from the staff members who would have to process paper checks or things that are sent in the mail? So there's that component of it as well, I think, to make it a little bit more streamlined on their end.
So you go from just like a website to the actual like true web application to support administrative side.
And the golf tournament was just one, and that's the one that's coming up. So there's like several other events that they have throughout the year that they take registrations and payments for.
Well, I mean, here's another good one, the Wings at the Water Park. So there's, have you, any of you ever went to that?
I've worked it for several summers.
Isn't it awesome? So it's up at Montage Mountain. There's like, I don't know, 100 different restaurants that go there, and they have a big buffalo wing contest. How do they do the voting on that? Do they count tickets?
Yeah, you vote. Remember,
Yeah,
after you taste one, you get to vote for your favorite
Yeah.
one, and they have different categories that they'll select a winner for.
Yeah, so that, I mean, this might even be scope creep as well, but like imagine like being able to vote online or something like that and have it show up. So like, I don't know, we're all a bunch of nerds and we all think that something like that would be cool. It's not something that they have. So I mean, this could go in a million different directions. So step one, let's solve the first problem, right? Step two, let's figure out some other ones. So we talked about, you know, a questionnaire, which I think is a good start. The storyboard is probably areas that we should go across, but I think if I heard one after that, I need to do that.
We don't have to make all these decisions right now.
I just want to at least try to figure out some like action items, you know, for all the ones who do want to participate.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
So for the questionnaire, is everybody in the Slack group or anything?
Yes.
Oh, the Slack group.
I will be.
Okay.
Slack group is cool.
Because I was gonna say, we can start a doc and share it within the Slack group, and then we all can edit it and add questions that we feel would be helpful for us to know, to be able to kind of understand what are their goals and objectives. I'll have some general ones that I think for most creative projects, you would ask those kinds of questions, but that way the whole group would have the opportunity to share and say, okay, like, here's something that I really would wanna know about. And then we could give that to them, you know, get their feedback, and then we have more of a starting point to start to flesh out other things like understanding the personas and what are the user journeys that we need to target and those kinds of things.
Yep.
I would ask them, what do they want to do right now? And then what are their off-the-wall wish list items that they would like it to do?
Yeah.
Short term and long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell them not to even try to be technical about it. Just tell us what they want it to do and let us, you know, mull it around and see if we can figure out, give them an answer on that.
Yeah, and I think Amy and I could speak for them initially. I want this to just be much easier than the way it is now. That is the number one thing that I'll even say it on behalf of them.
And everything needs to be dynamic so that they can make updates to it on the
Content
fly.
management.
I mean, the last thing Julianne wants to do as a marketing person is to pick up the phone and talk to Bisha and I and say, hey, will you please update this site, we get to it a week later because,
And that's,
you know,
we're having a database backend